China's two-decade-long real estate escapade started during the 1998 Asian financial crisis. Local governments have been relying on real estate growth to meet their GDP targets. Currently, of all the economic problems China faces, the real estate bubble and the related local government debts and insolvency are the biggest financial challenges threatening the regime. After the CCP's 20th Party Congress, it has become clear that Beijing wants to tackle these two problems. How will Beijing handle the real estate bubble? Hi everyone, welcome to Leisrealtalk. I'm Lei. Before the CCP's 20th Congress, Reuters reported that Chinese real estate developers postponed the urgent restructuring of debts and waited on the sideline for the dust to settle from the 20th Congress, which may bring a new policy direction. Immediately after the conclusion of the Party Congress, Chinese media First Financials published an editorial titled, "Actively Preparing for the Revaluation of Risky Assets." Many people in China say that the article has set the tone for where China's real estate industry is heading. It started out saying, with the triumphant conclusion of the CPC's 20th Party Congress and the first plenary session of the Congress, the economy and society have stepped into a period of real actions. In the usual Communist Party rhetoric, it proclaimed a new era, a new starting point, a new journey have begun to be implemented into the economic and social daily life within people's reach. It said that China's overpriced real estate market is the result of people treating real estate as an investment vehicle, which has raised the cost of social and economic operations, reduced the return on investment, and suppressed demand in the housing market. It predicted that a re-evaluation of real estate as a risky asset will be coming, and the sooner it comes, the less harm it brings to the economy. And then it explained that the real estate re-evaluation also has something to do with the structuring of China's population, namely the one-child policy, which has caused China's population to age rapidly and shrink. At last, the editorial praised the Party Congress and reminded investors that they needed to be actively prepared for the re-evaluation of real estate. Many commentators believe that the editorial piece isn't just the opinion of this one media. They think it has come from higher authorities trying to give people a heads up on Beijing's determination to bust the real estate bubble. Recently, local governments have encouraged state-owned enterprises to buy properties from troubled developers for government-subsidized or settlement housing. For example, on August 15th, Huzhou City issued a notice to encourage state-owned enterprises to acquire unsold properties and repurpose them as guaranteed resettlement housing. Wenzhou and Jinan governments issued similar statements to announce state-owned enterprises acquiring excess housing inventories for the rental market. Before 1998, most Chinese lived in state-owned housing units allocated to them by their workplaces. With that editorial, the CCP has declared that its real estate reforms are over, and the days when people buy real estate as an investment are gone. Housing prices will plummet. China is slowly returning to the era when housing units were government subsidized and allocated, except this time it's done through state-owned enterprises or SOEs. Through mergers, the Chinese SOEs are getting more centralized and supersized. There are some of the world's largest companies, such as Sinochem Holdings and China Oil and Foodstuffs Corporation or COFCO. They are part of Beijing's economic blueprint for the next 5 years, called One Industry, One Enterprise. The cornerstone of this strategy is control and centralization. And most importantly, Beijing hopes to rely on these supersized SOEs to rescue the financially indebted local governments. On October 25th, China's Ministry of Finance announced the country's fiscal revenue and expenditure for the first 3 quarters of this year. Bloomberg calculated and found that the deficit from January to September was 7.16 trillion renminbi, almost 3 times the deficit of the 2.6 trillion renminbi for the same period last year. This is because local governments have seen high expenditures associated with the zero-COVID policy, while income from land sales have been reduced. For decades, local governments have relied on land sales as a major source of revenue. However, total land revenue in the first 9 months of this year was only 3.85 trillion yuan, 28.3% less than last year's. Private real estate developers are reluctant to buy land. Some local governments are selling land to state-owned enterprises to generate quick revenue. That's like the government selling land to itself to get cash. But that seems to be Beijing's solutions, as the SOEs are tasked with the responsibility to help the financially insolvent local governments. Recently, Chinese media has reported that these supersized SOEs and their regional headquarters have moved into various local areas. For example, NetEase said on October 22nd that the regional headquarters of 6 SOEs have moved to Guangxi province, including CSBC Xijiang Shipbuilding, China Construction, and Nanning Railway Bureau. On October 20th, NetEase reported that 7 supersized military enterprises entered Harbin in Heilongjiang province, making Harbin the so-called military-industrial highland. In addition, about the same number of super SOEs have been selected and sent to Hefei in Anhui province, Shanghai, Chongqing, Guangzhou, and Changsha City in Hunan province, among others. The SOEs are prioritized over private and foreign-owned enterprises in terms of resources because they are the CCP's solution for helping the local governments and creating jobs. For the time being, Xi Jinping wants these SOEs to grow bigger and more dominant in their respective industries. But who knows if one day he will realize that these SOEs have become too powerful, as they not only have money but will also be closely interlinked with the local CCP officials. Maybe he will tear them apart then. After the Party Congress, Chinese society is plagued with a sense of pessimism. And now the Chinese word finished or 完了 is banned. Related topics or content either went offline or was removed. Less than a month ago, on October 6th, I made a video about ultra-high-end real estate properties being hyped as liquid assets by wealthy Chinese because of their rarity. But within a month, before and after the Party Congress, high-end real estate prices in Shanghai dropped 40%. I don't know if that's why the word finished went viral and is now banned. Xi Jinping reiterated common prosperity in his Party Congress speech and proposed to standardize the wealth accumulation mechanism for the first time. China's state media also highlighted the irregular means of wealth accumulation among a small number of ultra-rich. Perhaps Xi Jinping believes that by controlling these SOEs, the regime can standardize and control how people make money and get wealthy, but I doubt he will be successful. Here are the 2 videos I mentioned. One is on the one industry, one enterprise strategy, and the other on inflation and Chinese high-end real estate. Thank you for watching. See you next time.